As regular viewers will know, I do have a bit of a thing for the Mosquito. So when I saw that Special Hobby were planning on releasing a new tooled Mozzie in 1/72nd scale, I got a little bit excited and had to plan when to buy it. That's right, a when, not an if. And well, the day has come. This arrived literally at time of recording a couple of hours ago. It arrived, it's a Saturday morning, it arrived this morning. I've cooked breakfast and I've come up here with my coffee and I'm going to have a look for the first time at the 1/72nd scale Special Hobby de Havilland Mosquito NF Mark 30. The box is incredibly shiny, so much that I've had to tilt it at an angle because otherwise that light just gets right in the way, so it's a little bit strange. Yeah, incredibly glossy. We have this absolutely beautiful artwork of a night fighter that's clearly just shot down an uhu by the looks of it. And it states Night Predator down here. We have a product code on this side, 72508. The scale and brand at the top there. It's quite a large box, so it's getting a bit in the way. Apologies for that. And down on this side, we have all of the different schemes, or at least nationalities, included, which are RAF, Belgian Air Force, RAF with a little Czech, RAF with a little Polish, so there'll be Czech and Polish squadrons, Royal Australian Air Force, and the US Army Air Force. A lot of variants included, apparently, and I say apparently because I've already seen, let's do it now, this side. The long edge, we have the red slab there, and these are the 6 schemes. That's right, you get 6 decal options included with this. And there's the artwork again. On the other long edge, it starts with a grey here. We've got the Special Hobby address, some basic information, a QR code. I will scan that and let you know where that goes. I'm guessing it goes to the website. And again, the box artwork. And tilting it at an angle, both shop edges are the same. I've set the camera up for a smaller kit than this. Clearly that was a mistake because it's basically the entire length from the lens to the board at the back there, but both shop edges are the same, just one is grey and the other is red. Being a top opening box which is already trying to take itself off, there is nothing on the bottom, just thick white cardboard. So let's get this rambling over and take a look inside. It looks like all of the sprues are in a stick seal bag, yeah, like a kind of envelope type bag, so we're going to leave them there. The decals are there as well, as you can see, but as tradition dictates, we're going to have a quick look through the instructions first. This will just be a quick look, by all means pause if you want to see something. However, for now we're just going to scan through, get a general impression. We have the kit number in the top right and the same aircraft as appears on the box. We then have a history in English and in Czech, and it's important to note, I'll highlight it so you can see, twin-engined aircraft, that was one of the best aircraft of the Second World War. See, no, that's not an opinion, it's a fact. It was one of the best, and if you disagree, you are wrong. Having skim-read the history, it covers the entire aircraft of the Mosquito, not just the Mark 30. It does mention the Mark 30 in there, but the English seems pretty good for a non-English speaking country. Wow. Good Lord, look at the size of this parts list and how many red X's there are. So we have sprue maps, plural. We have a load of clear parts that aren't being used. I think, what, you're just using the canopy and the wingtips? And I don't know what that is. So you're barely using any of that. Interesting. You've got what looks like bits for either a bomber version or photo reconnaissance. We'll go into a little bit more about that later. For now, we're just looking at what we get here. This sprue, we've got some drop tanks and some bombs that aren't being used. We've got propeller blades, alternate versions, which is fine, that's what you'd expect. Some wheels, G&I. How many? I'm going to have to count these. I don't think it tells me anywhere on the box how many parts are in this kit. And I always like to do a little data sheet to tell you when I'm doing a build video. So I'm going to have to go through and count these. Which ones are used and which ones are not. Wonderful. That is a lot. Oh, and I didn't miss it, I just didn't mention it. We've got the symbols down here and the paints. That's what they recommend. Naturally, I will be using my normal paints, which are a mix of Hataka and Vallejo. Right, construction. This is, as I've already mentioned, decent quality paper by the feel of it. It's multiple colour, as you can see here. We've got what I assume are the painted bits in that weird sort of bluey colour. and black. So they're trying to represent roughly what it will look like, broken down into plenty of steps. We've got a decal for the instrument panel. We have clear parts, optional clear parts. I don't know why it's optional. Surely you either need them or you don't. More decals on this side of the fuselage. There's bits to cut off. That's one thing that I noticed quite a lot with Special Hobby. There's almost no version that I can find that doesn't involve you cutting something in some way. In fact, come to think of it, I don't think I've ever featured any Special Hobby on the channel before. I've built a few before. Oh, we got the radar. Should have mentioned that. There it is. That was what was being built down here. That's the Night Fighter version. Basically, it makes it see when you can't. Right, page 6. We have putting the bottom of the fuselage on. We've got some guns there, or gun barrels, I should say. Tail wheel. All those variants look different, slightly different mounts for the tail. Option of drilling for fuel tanks, and it tells you tank or rack, which is fine, that's to be expected. And then we're on the undercarriage. Blimey, we're not even halfway through the book. I do find sometimes big thick instruction books like this are a bit cumbersome. They get a bit in the way because I tend to prop things up on the desk or just out of shot, and a big book has an annoying tendency to fall over, things like that. However, the Mosquito is a medium-sized aircraft by my standards, and I would rather it break things down into lots of steps like this than I would just see one exploded diagram which essentially says paint interior, make plane, paint exterior. And of course these instructions, unlike other brands who I won't name and shame but have initials like KP and AZ, is actually for this specific version rather than just a generic do some research, look at what you think goes well. And there we go, we're now on step 25 and the plane is mostly being assembled. We do have an option for flaps to be down, so it looks like you've got a little tab there and you can have flaps up or down. That is nice. There is going to be naturally some comparison with the Airfix Mosquito because Airfix recently released a new Mosquito as well in 72nd scale, so there's going to be some natural comparison with that. Again, I'll mention that later. We have the canopy, which also has a little door on the side, which I don't like. I don't like having that. It's not really much you can do about it with a Mosquito. Oh look, you have to scratch build something. To scratch build a bit of plastic. Alternative exhausts. I don't think it tells you which scheme is which, and we're now at the end. So we're on page 12 and we're sticking drop tanks on like that. There we go. And we're done. Now, colour call out, scheme 8, and it gives you a history of this in both languages. Again, very much appreciated. Rather than just here is a plane, it actually tells you a little bit about it. And it's that sort of attention to detail that really make me like certain kits over others. I am a history nerd. I like knowing what I'm building rather than just a plane. Whose plane? What did it do? Where did it go? For example. So we've got a little history here of the aircraft. This is standard RAF green and grey, not ocean grey. Mosquitoes were commonly just left in medium sea grey, as it says down here. Sometimes you've got ocean grey as well, but often they were like this. So this is a pale grey, dark green over black. This is scheme B, which is a Belgian example, and the history actually tells you that it's the same aircraft as scheme A, which after the war was then sold to the Belgians and was left in a semi-painted state. It looks like a bit of a mess. I really like this one, not going to lie. I quite like the fact, well, I like the fact it's Belgian, but I like the fact that they just painted some of it and left the rest. Very nice, very smart. Scheme C, we have another standard scheme. This is just RAF, I say just RAF, you know what I mean, with medium sea grey all over with green on the top surfaces. Schemes D and E also have the same medium sea grey and dark green scheme. There we go. Very, very nice. And finally, scheme F is the US Army Air Force one. Probably the brightest of them because it's got these large red spinners and it does highlight the fresh overpaint. So they would have originally been British roundels that the Americans obviously didn't require. Oh, and on the tail as well, fresh overpaint. So again, a relatively interesting scheme. Finally, it can tell you how to improve it by buying more of their stuff. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? it makes sense to advertise other products, including this one. We're going to talk about this shortly, so stop looking at that. Excellent. Look, excellent 1/72 scale plastic kits. So they are confident, if nothing else. And there's a Wellington. I've never actually made a Wellington. I like them, just never made one. Tempest Pilot Dog. Nice. And Mechanic with Accumulator Trolley. Oh, maybe I should get that. Oh, so many things. See, this is why it's a good idea. I'm now looking at that going, oh yeah, I was going to buy that kit. I forgot it existed for a while. I would have completely forgotten about that had I not bought this one. So there we go. That's the instructions done. So now I'm going to open this. We're going to look at the decals first so that I can put them somewhere safe and then look at the plastic parts. If anyone was looking worried that they were just, the decals were just shoved in the same bag as everything else, don't be. This is separately sealed, so this is a separate sticky bag. I'm actually not going to open these right now. I will have to just wait until building the kit to see what the quality is like. Obviously it's got some sort of cover on it because it looks a little bit faded, but I've never had a problem with Special Hobby decals before. Everything looks in register. There is a tiny little kangaroo, number 22. There's quite a lot of duplicate numbers. So they've done stencils like S12, S15, and then you've got 12 and 15 down here as well. But straight away, things look fine. The Belgian ones look all right. Again, I kind of want to see the colour of them, but the register looks absolutely fine. I know it may be a bit of a cop-out not showing you those right now, but I really do want to protect them. I really do want to keep them safe. So come back to the build video if you want to see the quality of those. Same goes with the clear parts. They are sealed. Actually, oh, no, I can get these out. One of them's loose. You can see it, the canopy. Probably the only bit, it could be the only bit that was needed. Right. Oh, it's awkward. So here is the loose canopy. CP28 is the part that I need. Is this CP28 or is the other one? Oh, it's the flat one already. I already know it is, yeah. Because there's three. The reason why I say the flat one, quick mosquito identification guide lesson. The later mosquitoes that had a pressurized cockpit have this point. They have an angle at the front, so a split windscreen, and the earlier ones that were not pressurized have this flat windscreen. So things like your Mark IV, your Mark VI, and in this case obviously the Mark 30, they're going to be flat, and things like your photo reconnaissance Mark 16, you're going to have your angle. So I already know that this is the one that you would use because it's the only one which is flat. Despite being loose in the bag, it looks absolutely fine. There's no scratches on it. Oh, hang on. Oh no, nope. I thought it was a scratch, it wasn't. Here's the gap, which will have to be filled by another piece. Doesn't look too thick. Perfectly visible inside there. Yeah, looking good. I do know that most of these will not be used based on the instructions, but here we have this sort of translucent colour. They've presumably done it so that you can have all of the cameras visible in one piece rather than have to drop a load of separate tiny pieces in. Obviously not relevant for this version, but I do kind of appreciate it. Oh, that's the nose. They've also done that on the clear sprue, even though you paint over it. Interesting. Wingtips, and we have DH98 Mosquito 172 Special Hobby. Oh, I suppose I have featured a Special Hobby kit on the channel. There's the Fairy Battle, which was in a From Azure box, so check that out if you want to see what Special Hobby are like. Well, even trying to make some room on the desk, and I'm still inundated with sprues. We have no less than 7 sprues of dark grey plastic to get through. So yeah, good value for money if you want just sheer quantity of plastic. I'm going to start with this one, which has been chosen at random. It was the last one out, basically. It's Sprue F. Again, Special Hobby, DH98 Mosquito 172. And on this sprue we have the propeller blades, and oh hello, instrument panel. Put it the right way up. Look at that, very nicely molded. Sometimes they will do a flat, sometimes manufacturers will do a flat instrument panel and rely on the decal for detail. Others will do it raised and not have a decal. Special Hobby have done both. And you can always sand it down if you've got etched parts. Got rudder pedals underneath it as well. We have this component, whatever that may be. Looks like part of the floor. Apologies if you can hear a helicopter overhead. I do live near an airport. There is a blemish on here. You can see the, quite frankly, ridiculous rivet detail. This tiny strip of rivets at the bottom. But the part does look significantly scratched. That's not coming off. No flash, just scratches. Tyres, very nice tyre detail. Shouldn't get so excited over a tyre, but sometimes I do. Very good indeed. That's gone back in the box. Let's go for this one next. This is Sprue A. Probably should have started here. Sprue A. Special hobby. We've got engine nacelles, and you can see some of the rivet detail on there. You can also see the interior detail. I should have mentioned as well, the kit does have locating pins. Limited run companies tend not to do it. I do not consider Special Hobby to be limited run. I think they used to be. Used to be very much a sort of company just to churn out a batch of something weird. But now these are high quality kits. There's the interior of the fuselage. Standard with Mosquitoes, there's no nose attached because a lot of the Mosquitoes had a very similar or identical fuselage, and it was only the nose which was different, so it makes more sense to mould it like this and get the most out of your tool. We have some exhaust. I say some exhausts, plenty, and we found the first bit of flash. Look at that. This whole edge is a little bit sloppy, even here where it says 20, what I assume is 24. It's become a blob. But yeah, okay, bit of flash. Not the end of the world. Not ideal for a new kit. A new tool, sorry. And now I'm going to go for this one, look at some more small parts. What's this? We've got another instrument panel. This is, I can't see it, oh, Sprue D. This is Sprue D. We have more internal controls. We have a door, another instrument panel. That will probably be because the other one, I believe, had the radar equipment on it. Got more exhausts with more flash. Well, I assume that's flash. Yeah. Excess plastic. You're already getting loads of plastic and they're giving you more. There's various tail wheel or tail mounts as mentioned in the instructions. The drop tanks. Again, we've got a bit of scratching, quite possibly because there's a lot of plastic all shoved in one bag. Hopefully it won't show through on the final product though. There's the interior detail for the entrance door. One of them. There's another one there. And on the last big sprue, this is B. There is B. We have the wings. Again with the fine rivet detail. Look at that. They're raised. I know some people hate that. Personally, I like it. It looks better, in my opinion. Yes, it's harder to drop washes in it, but sod that. Rivets are raised. And this wonderful mix of recessed panel lines and raised detail looks excellent. There's the bottom wing surfaces. Look at that. Oh, I'm getting all Mosquito excited. I've only just finished, well, about a week ago, the 1/48th Tamiya Mosquito, and already I've just gone out and bought another one. So we're going to be very Mosquito heavy for a bit, and I'm okay with that. There's the tail, again with raised rivets and recessed panel lines. And now we have the three little ones. I'm starting with this because I saw it's Sprue C, and I think this is the sprue that we only use one part of anyway, which is the gun barrels. Everything else I'm pretty sure is for bombing or photo reconnaissance. Yeah, we've got bomb bay doors, and more bomb bay doors but with cameras in, and the ejection ports for the guns as well. This one is Sprue G, and we have more doors, lots of doors, various doors, lots of undercarriage bits. You can tell that there are plenty of options that they are intending to get out of this tooling. And these are front pieces. I'm guessing, I can't remember from what it said in the instructions, but it would be that one logically that would be used because that's got a mount for what I assume is the radar. That must be for a bomber or photo reconnaissance version. Here is the somewhat ugly nose extension that these had, again with a bit of flashing on, where was it? On there. You see that? Bit of extra plastic. A little concerning that a new tool would have flash, because it doesn't bode well for the longevity of the tool if it can't even manage its first press. And then we have this last one, which I can't see a letter for. This has got the undercarriage on. There's the undercarriage legs and the fuel tanks and start the wing spar, you know, miscellaneous things like that. What's notable about this is that it is different to this. So look at the text for DH98 Mosquito and compare it with the other sprues. So the other 6 sprues all look like this. They all have tiny little numbers and tiny writing and Special Hobby written on them, whereas this doesn't. We've got some flash here on some of these parts. It's still the same plastic and it's still nicely detailed, and all these bits are fiendishly small, but it's just interesting to note that everything is bigger. I don't know why that is. Suggestions in the comments below, please. But that is it. That is all 7 dark grey sprues. Here we have the kit on Scalemates, and as you can see, it's the same box art. 2025 new parts. Note how it says new parts and not new tool. All of the schemes and the box contents, confirming that what I received is indeed what they intend to send you. And the reason why it says new parts is because there is a second version, or I suppose this is the second version, a first version, an alternative version of the basic tooling, which is this one, the Photo Reconnaissance Mark 16. This version also apparently comes with a full 6 options, 6 schemes, massive decal sheet there, including the stripy tail version. And those of you that know your mosquitoes will probably be aware that this is the same version that Airfix did, the same version of the Mozzie that Airfix did back in 2023. No, 21, sorry, 2020, well, the tool is 2021, and then new parts in 23 for the Photo Reconnaissance version. Which then begs the question as to why Special Hobby have released this particular mosquito, the Mark 16, the Photo Reconnaissance Mark 16, when Airfix already have it in the market. And I think the answer is they probably don't care. And I certainly don't. Ultimately, you can't buy Airfix everywhere. Here we are in the UK. Yep, you can, but you can't buy Airfix everywhere as cheaply and readily available as, for example, Special Hobby in their native Czechia. So there is perfect reason for them to do their own kits, and ultimately suckers like me will buy them anyway. The other thing to note is that this is the original Airfix release of their mosquito tooling. It's the Bomber Mark 16. I have made this one, and this is the one which has questionable accuracy. Essentially, they scanned one at a museum, but the one that they scanned was actually a Target tug pretending to be a Mark 16, as in it had been converted since, which means that they've included decals for a Mark 16 bomber, when in fact they've scanned an aircraft that is not a bomber. I can show you because I have a trio of mosquitoes here. Bear in mind that the 2 in green and grey have been painted with enamels and the varnish has ruined them, and it was back when I was brush painting. So this would have been probably 2021 when it first came out. But the underneath here, the bomber version has a pretty smooth set of doors. It does not have any of this gumph over here. I couldn't be bothered to fix it because it's on the underneath of the plane anyway. But that is wrong. What I note from looking in the Special Hobby box is that they give you all the parts for a Bomber Mark 16, but they haven't actually released one yet. So I would be particularly interested in seeing what they've done to rectify the issues of the Airfix one. The Photo Reconnaissance Mark 16 from Airfix is a more recent build of mine, also featured on the channel by the way, and I really like this kit. Absolutely fantastic, and there's going to be a natural comparison between this and the Special Hobby one, even though the Special Hobby one is a night fighter version, not this. It's the same basic airframe, just with the different canopy and different nose, and of course it doesn't have cameras all over the bottom, so there's still going to be some level of comparison because that is natural. In case you're wondering, this is a Tamiya one that I made a very long time ago. Utterly destroyed by varnish. I think it was Humbrol enamel varnish. Kind of looks like custard. But how much did this kit cost? Well, I bought it from eModels, where the recommended retail price is £25.99, so 26 quid, and I paid £23.39 for it. By comparison, the Airfix version, recommended retail price £24.99, so basically 25 quid, and they sell it for £22.49. So we're looking at about £1 difference for essentially the same aircraft, but tooling date 4 years apart. So I'm particularly intrigued to see what Special Hobby have done and how it stacks up to the Airfix one, which is not a bad kit by any means. As a fan of the Mosquito, I'm always happy to buy extra versions of the same aircraft, although I have actually, interestingly, never made a night fighter version, so this will still be something slightly different, and that is the main reason why I went for the Night Fighter Mark 30 as opposed to another PR16, which would have made for a better comparison. But what do you think? Would you pay an extra £1 for the Special Hobby one, or would you just immediately see the price and go, no, I trust Airfix? I guess the real test will be when I build it, and I'm going to build it fairly soon, so stay tuned for that. But I would be interested to know if you would even buy the kit, knowing that it's more expensive than an Airfix equivalent, which if you've wanted a Mosquito, you've probably already built. I would be grateful if you could subscribe if you don't already. I like watching numbers go up, and it helps the algorithm recommend my video to other people. So if you like it, all you have to do is press a button and other people may get a chance to watch it, and that's good. You could hit the notification bell and the thumbs up if you want as well. That would also be appreciated, and you could even go the extra mile and become a channel member like the people appearing on screen. These people did not specifically authorise me buying another Mosquito, but I'm sure that they'll forgive me for spending their hard-earned membership money on a duplicate aircraft. But no worries if you can't or don't want to, because just watching these videos is enough for me, and I'm very, very grateful of that. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for me building a Mosquito again very soon, and I will see you hopefully in another video in the near future.